Very good morning to you, viewers, and welcome to our show, Breakfast with the Deacons. I am your host for today. I'm Deacon Matura, and let me, as we are in this season of independence, so wish you happy independence as well. I want to remind you of the quote that we have from Archbishop Jason Gordon, actually through his column Conversations with Archbishop J. In his message last weekend in the Catholic News, he gave us as his key message: by living our vocation intentionally, we become a better dialogue partner, thus assisting the nation integrally in its growth and development. I thought it's a very important quote, key message that he gave to us, and it is something that we need to ponder as we develop our nation, and as church we make our input into the building of a strong nation. Today our guest is with us. She is Miss Sharon Mangroo. She is the Chief Executive Officer of the Catholic Education Board of Management. And welcome to our show this morning, Miss Mangroo. And tell me, how did the reopening of school go?
Well, it was hectic. Most of our schools opened without a hitch, but we have had some issues with some of the schools. Some schools have not been able to open. One or two schools, not many. Santa Maria has been badly damaged by the earthquake. Diego Martin Girls has had some problems. There were problems before, but they were made worse by the earthquake. St. Benedict's has an entire block, the administrative block, which is not safe, and again that was earthquake damage. And then we have Belmont Boys, which is almost open, brand new school.
Okay.
For years, since 2005, Belmont Boys has been out of their school building. They've been in a little building that was lent to them. The new building is ready. The technical handover has been done, and they are just waiting for furniture to be put in it and for school to start fully. So it's been an exciting week.
Yeah. And has the Belmont Boys, is it on the same compound that it used to be?
No, well, of course, they were in the compound of the St. Dominic's home.
Yeah,
they are moving just a little bit.
Okay.
No, the previous school was next to the church, St. Francis Church.
Yes.
They've been moved out of there. They've been out of there a long time now.
Yeah.
But their new school is where St. Martin's used to be, just on Bella Road there, just behind the orphanage.
Yes.
Right, just east of the orphanage.
Right.
It's a lovely school.
Okay, very good. And what about staffing? How has that gone for this?
Staffing is good. We just got some new appointments, about 16 new appointments that were made. Teachers have been in and out collecting their letters of appointment. We have some continuations that were about 50 people, and some people were successfully transferred. Teachers apply for transfers, and they all, expect to be transferred immediately as they ask, but it depends on where spaces are available.
Of course,
but some have been successful.
Yes. Well, today we are here to talk about Priest Can Cook Too. And what can you tell us about this event?
Okay. Our Priest Can Cook Too I think it's a pretty unique event in that last year the staff at the Chancery started questioning themselves about what can they do to assist with education. Now, the staff at the Chancery doesn't have to do directly with education. That's the Catholic Education Board of Management. But hearing about the issues that we have with education, they wanted to do something definitely. So they came up with this idea of involving priests, and then they approached the Catholic Education Board of Management. Last year's event was a wonderful success. Priests were asked to cook, and many priests actually cooked.
Yeah.
And in some cases, the parish put together, where the priests didn't do the actual cooking, it was the deacons, the parishioners, and they brought their dish. We had many people bought tickets. Some people complained that they didn't get tickets, but it was a wonderful event. It was held at the St. John's Ambulance Brigade headquarters, and I can just, I think the best way to describe the atmosphere there was warm.
Good.
You know,
Yeah.
people enjoyed meeting people from other parishes, and it was something that everybody, the young people enjoyed. The not so young, the more experienced and mature people
Yeah.
had a wonderful time, and they asked for more. They said,
Yeah.
you must do this again. Right? So this year is bigger. It may be better. We have priests lined up to do the cooking as usual. We have parishioners geared up, ready to come. And this is going to benefit our schools. Last year, the proceeds went to building up 4 schools in particular. Each school was asked to do a proposal for how they would spend funds. What did they need to do in order to improve their student performance? They gave us lovely proposals, very large proposals. And each proposal asked for much more money than we could afford to give the individual school. But this year we were able to pass on those funds. They narrowed down the proposals to the money that was available. They have asked us not to mention the exact sum that each school got, while we would like to do it for accountability purposes. But you saw what happened yesterday to Father Jose Maria. So they said, you know, if we keep mentioning the amount of money, it is going to encourage some people with thoughts that are not so good. But they have done things, they've expanded their curriculum, they've brought resources, particularly in 3 cases, they have brought resources that will allow the children to be more involved in a lot of sporting activities. And this provides learning in so many ways, because through sporting activities, the children come to learn about themselves, they learn about their bodies, they learn teamwork, and they learn about the outside world. Because for many of these children, their environment is pretty narrow. It's home and the immediate environment, but they don't know much about the country, they don't know much about anything else. So with being able to take part in team sports, they are taken out of the school, they play against other schools, they learn to interact not only with their own teammates, but with people who are on opposing teams. So this has been, the schools are very excited. We're going to be happy to go into those schools now and see the difference that it's making. One school, however, was a little different in that the new principal, and this is a brand new principal, this is La Romaine. The new principal has a lot of expertise in IT. And when he went into the school, he said he met some demotivated students, they're not particularly interested in learning. And so he thought he would bring to bear his IT skills. And so he has used his knowledge to purchase computer parts and to build the computers, right? So that the students will be able to use computers in learning. And he says he has formed programs that he's going to be using and so on. So those children are in for a very exciting term. The term was open.
Yeah, and you speak about this, the sports in the school, and these areas that are non-academic subjects tend to really influence students. It relaxes them and allows them to enjoy the academic subjects. In fact, when I taught at that period, I was the physical education teacher in our school, and the boys in my school, but I taught at a boys' school then, it influenced their academic work, and it improved, because when it came to making the school teams, parents were always, the academic must be first. And I would use that, and I will tell them, and that, you know, with their parents, that if their performances start to drop, they will, you know, we will have to take care of the football team or the cricket team also. And that caused them, that was our motivation for them to raise their level and raise their own input. And these areas on the curriculum, I think they're very important, because they help us to do better when it comes to the academics.
They do. And I think, you know, there are a lot of theories about how people learn well and so on. As Catholics, we are interested in educating the whole child. It's one thing to learn a lot of theory, a lot of what is in the books and so on, but we think a child needs to learn how to live in this world. What is the how to live with God, how to live with each other. And it takes more than sitting in a classroom and learning math and English and so on. You have to learn how to live with each other. But all of that learning starts with yourself.
Yeah.
And you need to start with learning me. And the so-called non-academic subjects really do that.
Yes.
And we're speaking of things like football and cricket and tennis and so on, netball. But we have schools that are very involved in dance and in music.
Yes, music.
And as Catholics, we know the importance of those things. They have always been important in Catholic history. They are all the arts, you know, because it brings out the best in the human being.
Right, so, and develops them all completely.
Yes.
Now let's talk a little bit about the event. Now you see, this is the second of these events, the second year that's running.
It's the second year, and I think this is going to become an annual event.
Okay.
Right? This year, so we're bigger.
Yeah.
Right? This year it is being held at the Savannah, the Grandstand Savannah in the forecourt. And we have a lovely decor arranged. We have event managers who are putting all these lovely things in place. We have secured parking. These days it is very, very important.
Extremely important.
That we have security on site, so patrons will be able to park and enjoy the evening. It takes place on the 28th. It's a Friday evening, so when you're looking for somewhere to lime after work, it is going to be an ideal place. But don't wait until that Friday. You have to buy tickets long in advance because they are going to sell fast. Right? It starts at 6:30 and dinner will be served until about 8:30, but the entertainment goes until 10:30.
Okay. So you have entertainers included on the show?
We have quite a few entertainers lined up. Last year we had the music, I think, was one of the things people enjoyed particularly. It was mellow. That's the best way to describe it. It was mellow music, you know, and it appealed to the whole range of ages that we had present. We have people like Wendell Constantine. We have a range, a nice range of entertainers. Yeah. So it will appeal to everyone.
Right. And you said the parking will be secured. Is it going to be on the Savannah itself?
There's going to be an area that will be blocked off. It's where the North Stand normally is. So that it will be adequate. There will be sufficient parking for everyone.
Right, very good. And tickets for the
tickets are available in the parish offices, but I think people will have access to them very easily. But members of the Catholic Education Board of Management also have tickets, and the staff at Archbishop House would have a few tickets that would be available. I have tickets on me right now.
Okay. All right. So and the price of the tickets?
They're $275.
$275.
$275. For $275, you are going to have a wonderful meal.
Okay. Good. And you mentioned that the priests and the various people who assist them, they cook. Is any cooking done at the venue?
Not much.
No.
Not much, but there's some.
Okay.
Right? There are arrangements made for cooking. There's one priest, I forget who it is now, there's one priest who will be cooking definitely at the venue. The dishes, we have a really wide array of dishes because they're coming from all over.
Yeah.
So we have parishes that bring signature dishes. We have parishes that come from the seaside, for instance, and they are going to bring their seafood in the way that they cook it at home.
Right.
So we really get a taste of Trinidad and Tobago.
Home cooked food.
Yeah, home cooked. And a range. You get meats, poultry, seafood, you know, vegetable dishes, lovely desserts. Right? It is going to be, I keep using the word enjoyable, but I really enjoyed it last year.
Right. And the funds that are raised, you said, are going to some of the schools that need assistance. You mentioned that La Romaine RC benefited last year. There are other schools that...
Yeah, other schools, Diego Martin Boys, Our Lady of Laventil. Yeah. These schools they are all in communities that are a little challenged.
Yeah.
And they have all had difficulties with student performance.
Yeah.
So we are expecting that through the involvement of a wider curriculum, these students will be assisted in improving their performance. Not just, as we said before, not just the academic performance, but their outlook on life.
Yeah. And as you talk about them, how many schools are you targeting to help with from this fundraiser?
This year, a minimum of 7 schools. But I think the funds may reach further than that, in that we are looking to put in a program that will assist with literacy. And it may be able to spread across a larger number of these schools.
Good.
So what we're finding is that at the base of the poor academic performance,
Yeah.
very often there would be reading difficulties.
Good.
And although we have done some good programs, we have a large number of our teachers who have been trained in literacy, primary school teachers. A lot of them have been involved in the Leading for Literacy program. So we have at least 36 teachers who have been involved in that program so far. This program is sponsored by Republic Bank, and it is done by the leadership group, Mrs. Crouch and her group. And it has made a big difference in the schools. But we find that there's some more that has to be done. They're using phonics, and we find that there are some students who need even more help before they can access a program like that. So we're working on making this program available to a few schools. We've also done a numeracy program with teachers, and again we are going to be using any available funds to put towards expanding this program. We did this 2 years ago, and teachers were enthusiastic about the program, but I think what struck me most in attending some of the sessions with them is listening to teachers say, "Oh, that is it," because it was very hands-on. We use a lot of manipulatives, and so the teachers themselves experienced concrete learning.
Good.
And
Good.
came to understand why the math rules are the way they are.
Yeah.
They passed on this to their students. While we don't have hard data as yet, they are telling us that it made a difference with the SEA results this year.
Yeah.
So some of them were very excited about that.
Yeah. And these 36 that you speak about who are assisting, are they from within the system, or are they people you have brought in on board from outside of the school?
No, these are teachers in our primary schools, and this
Okay.
is a wide range of primary schools.
Okay.
Some of them have done extremely well with what they've learned. Mrs. Crouch has flagged, for example, the teachers at Tabakit who have put into practice everything that they've learned, and you can see the results. We have to assist the teachers. It takes a little bit more than knowing how to do something. It takes providing the environment in which it can be done. So some of the teachers tell us, yes, they have been trained in how to teach reading, but they need a little help when they are in the schools. They have classes, large classes, not unreasonably large, but some of the students need individual attention. And it is difficult to do that when you have a class of 20, 25 students. So what we are looking at is getting parishes a little more involved, so that people who wish to volunteer, and there are many, many good Catholic people or non-Catholic people who would like to assist in schools. They would like to improve, as you quoted from Archbishop Jason earlier, to building the nation, and they'd like to do this through helping with the children. And so if people can assist by making their time available to the principal, who can then assign them to assist the teacher with a class.
Yes.
You know, so they can look after the class while the teacher gives individual attention to one or two children.
Very good.
So.
And one thing about the Catholic education, our schools are spread every corner of the country. There's a Catholic school. Everywhere you go, you see a Catholic school. I suppose that has been where the parishes are set up. You know, back then the priest would have set up a school with his parish church.
Yes.
Yeah,
and I think in a lot of cases, they set up where there was a need.
Yeah, yeah.
So in many cases, what we have now are inner city schools, We have schools, in some areas it is the only school, right? We have schools in areas of high poverty and high crime where there are no other schools.
Yes, quite
right?
so.
So we do have a lot of needs that we need to attend to
And
with our
as
students.
Catholic education, well, as you rightly say, we have across the board a variety of students who come to us because we are in every corner of the country. And our time is running quickly, so I want to just kind of remind our viewers of the event. Priest can cook too, and you get your tickets at your parish office. It's circle your date on your calendar. It's Friday, September 28th. Dinner begins at 6:30 p.m. and of course we go on to 10:30 with some entertainment. It's good food. It's food from across the country as well. So we invite you to make sure that you get your tickets. Make sure that you go to your parish office. They are there, and they're priced at $275, and you're getting $500 worth of food for your $275, and then you add the entertainment to that. You're getting $700 worth on that evening. So we ask you, don't miss it. Remember, we have secure parking at the Savannah, and you will be entertained, feeling relaxed that your vehicle is looked after. We invite you to make sure that you cater for the traffic, coming into Port of Spain. Leave home, leave work. Well, don't miss your work, but leave in time so that you get there to have the fullness of the event. We are reminding you that whatever is raised from this event goes to helping with our Catholic schools, and especially the children who are, for some reason, they are a little behind at this time, but we hope to bring them up. We will bring them up because of your involvement, your help, and of course the personnel we have in our schools. And Ms. Mangroo, how many Catholic primary schools do we have?
118.
118 spread across the nation.
Yes.
That's a big number in terms of the entire population.
It's about a quarter of the schools.
A quarter of the schools.
It's just one short of the number of schools that the government has.
Okay, so the government has 119, and therefore it means that we are, as a primary schools, we are educating 25% of our nation's children.
Yes.
So we are producing for the nation the quality education, and our audience, our viewers, we are asking you to come out, support this event, make sure that you are there. We need you there. We need to look after our young ones. We need to ensure that they enjoy their learning and that they progress. And in a sense, they're progressing with help at their own speed, and then becoming quality citizens for us. What about secondary schools? So the board manages our secondary schools?
The Catholic Education Board of Management has only 6 secondary schools. While there are other Catholic secondary schools, they belong to other religious orders, the Cluny, the Holy Cross, and so on, right?
Yeah.
But we have 6. The 2 presentation colleges, St. Benedict's, St. Francis College, formerly known as Belmont Boys Secondary, RC, right, and Matlot.
Okay.
And we have 1 private school, that is St. Joseph College.
That's in St. Joseph.
Yes.
Yes, I know where that is. And how has, you mentioned that there have been some improvement with the secondary entrance assessment for this last year?
There's improvement among our primary schools. We haven't got the detailed statistics as yet from the ministry. They promise it. The ministers themselves have promised to make it available to us. But what we're seeing is that the national average, the Catholic average, is coming closer to the national average than it has been in the past. And we have only a smaller number of schools that are scoring below 50% and below 30%. a smaller number than in the past. Of course, we have schools that are at the top of the list as well.
Yes.
But we do have some that are way down to the bottom, so it pulls our mean down.
Yeah.
You know, and those are the ones that we're working with a lot.
Right, and with the support of our people on the Friday, this mark it down, remember, circle it on your calendar, Friday, September 28th. It's a day not to miss. It's an event that we shouldn't miss because it goes, as Ms. Mangroo have said to us, we are seeing improvements, and that's because of your involvement. We are able to give to our schools the kind of financial assistance that they need so that there is growth within our system and growth within our schools. Anything else you wanted before we close or to remind us of?
Just while we've been pitching this at Catholics, we do educate, at least half of the students in our schools are not Catholic. In our primary schools, in our secondary schools, I think the majority of them probably are not Catholic. We educate the nation's children. And the money spent on entertainment and on food for this particular event is going to be well worth it. I think you will be nourished body, soul, spirit, and you will be looking at educating the future.
Right. What about we spoke about the academic and the arts earlier. What about the morals and values in our schools?
We have been doing a lot of work now. The religious part of the schools is done by the catechetical office, and we work pretty closely with them. We have, last year, Archbishop met with the primary school teachers. They thought it was a wonderful, it was a real relaxing day, but it was a day of spiritual growth. They said it was very beneficial. The only thing teachers said was missing is priests for confession. Imagine that. And after his talk, several teachers asked for confession because they said, and you heard as he spoke, people said, oh, that's what I should be doing. Oh. We have coming up in September, and I don't want to give the wrong date, I believe it's the 19th, but I'm not certain, a meeting with the secondary school Catholic teachers. It's open to teachers, all the teachers of secondary schools, but it's aimed particularly at teachers of Catholic teachers from our secondary schools. And they will be meeting with His Grace. This is going to be a different kind of rest and relaxation. It will be a day of spiritual growth. While you'll be away from your students, you will be growing spiritually. We recognize that you cannot give to the students what you don't have for yourself.
Within you.
And the whole basis of Catholic education is for our students to come to know the living God, right? And to grow in His image, and therefore to serve fellow people.
Right, so. And we remind you, just let's hold it up again. Priest can cook. Friday, September 28th. Dinner begins at 6:30 p.m. and we go with entertainment until 10:30 p.m. Don't miss it. Your tickets are available at your parish offices, $275. That's a small gift for what you will be given and what you will contribute to. We look forward to your presence. We look forward to your being part of this event. We thank you, and we wish all of our schools, our teachers, our students the best for this academic year. Ms. Mangroo, we thank you for coming in and sharing with us this morning.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.